Yeah.
Where's his nose? Can you see his nose? See the nose? Where's his toes?
Oh, look. Oh.
And the Berkshires have got 6 white bits on them. Can you count to 6?
That was very fast.
That's it. So one on each of his toes. You count his toes. 1, 2,
2,
then up here 3,
3,
4, and then where's can you see another little white bit anywhere? On his nose.
Look, see how it's white there?
There's 5, and then he's got one more white bit.
What's that?
On the tip of his tail.
And that's number
7. I say he, it's a she.
Oh.
You want to say hello? There you go. Oh, where's the squeaky one? Oh no, Mum's going to give me a bite. You can come in and say hello if you want to.
Look after my babies.
There you go.
Do they like it rough or like? They prefer it like rough or like
Yeah, they do.
scratchy?
Yeah, a bit of scratching. That's why they love that. Yeah. Here we are. There's your baby. Shush, 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 shush. Here at the Cotswold Farm Park, we've got around 50 different breeds of 7 different species, and many of those are pigs. So we've got British Lops, we've got Berkshires, Saddlebacks, but the breed I specifically wanted to feature on today's episode is the Gloucestershire Old Spot. Here's one of our lovely Gloucestershire Old Spot sows with some of her piglets playing with these leaves that are on the ground. Absolutely gorgeous. And the Gloucestershire Old Spot is a pig that's been around for a very long time. There were always breed societies for sheep and cattle, but actually for pigs that came a little bit later. And the Gloucestershire Old Spot Pig Society was formed in 1913 with the first herd book in 1915. And in fact, by the 1920s, there were thousands of them, and they were incredibly popular. The most populous pig in the country, so more Gloucesters than anything else. But then, post the Great War, they went into decline. There was a drive for more food production because we had food rations in the country, and we started to bring our pigs indoors, and we had large white pigs moved away from the ones with any colour on their skin because of the colour that would show through into the crackling. And so we went for large, fast-growing, lean, white pigs. And things like the Gloucestershire Old Spot fell by the wayside. But thankfully, enthusiastic breeders stuck with the Gloucestershire Old Spot. And there was one man, the godfather really of Gloucestershire Old Spots, George Styles, that was determined to keep the breed going. And at one time he had about 80% of the entire national herd. And they're fantastic pigs. They're a medium size, they're white all over, they have to have at least one black spot, with forward flopping ears that should touch the end of their nose, with a good gap in between the ears and a big broad shoulder. And they produce fantastic pork and sausages and love outdoor production. So when pigs were bought indoors, it didn't really suit the Gloucester. And now things have moved on and we're breeding a lot of pigs outdoors again, and people are starting to buy local. The Gloucesters are coming back into their own. The danger being though that if a disease got into our national herd of pigs, it might wipe out all the pigs, including the Gloucestershire Old Spot, so foot and mouth, swine vesicular disease. And so there was a number of efforts to set up nucleus herds elsewhere around the world, in Sweden, in France, in the Falklands. And what happened was, when they took those Gloucestershire Old Spots there, sadly the locals then crossed them with their own pigs, and they were no longer pure, so there were no longer Gloucestershire Old Spots. But one lady called Robin Metcalf in 1996 took some pigs out to America. And there, eventually, we managed to keep them pure. And so if now the pigs get wiped out in the UK, there are pedigree Gloucesters out in America that we could call upon to re-establish the herds over here. But also the Rare Breed Survival Trust that look after British and rare native breeds in the UK, formed in 1973. And they've taken sperm from boars that they've frozen in time so that we can then call upon that in the future if we need to too. So hopefully this pig is around for many years to come. And in today's more sustainable type farming systems, when our pigs have come back outdoors and people like to buy local, they're choosing Gloucestershire Old Spots. Lots of smallholders enjoy keeping the Gloucesters. If you go to the agricultural shows like the Royal Three Counties or the Yorkshire or the Cornwall, you'll see people showing lots of rare breeds of pigs, and the Gloucester is always a favourite in the show ring. With all of the animals on the Cotswold Farm Park, we have to offer them some protection from the sun, and it's been very hot lately. So we've got the trees for them to get into the shade, and we put up wooden shelters as well. But the pigs love to wallow. They say a pig can't sweat, so to cool down, it needs to get into a cool bath and into the mud. So we've got these shallow water troughs, but also the pigs rootle up the ground and create their own muddy baths. And not only does it cool her down, but the mud on her skin is like a suntan lotion, protecting her from sunburn. So the sow's loving it, but so are the piglets. I really like the idea of food provenance and traceability, and I encourage people to buy British wherever they can, or buy even more local if you can find a really good producer nearby. And the wonderful thing about Gloucestershire Old Spot pork is that it has a TSG designation, which is a traditional speciality guaranteed. So that's akin to champagne coming from the Champagne region. You can buy sparkling wine all over the country, all over the world, but you can only get champagne from the Champagne region. And with Gloucestershire Old Spot pork, that has to come from a farmer who has pedigree Gloucestershire Old Spots and rears them in a traditional way. So seek it out, because it is absolutely delicious. I'd say better than champagne.